Welcome to the 12th Man Podcast, opinionated debate on everything Borough. Let's have it.
Inside the box, Janino nearly there. Ravanelli, goal! Mark Schwartz in. Get in! Get in, you big Aussie!
Well, Boston hasn't finished yet. Kick it!
And Borough have struck a stick to the heart of Dracula's boys, and it could be Eindhoven time!
Right then, here we go. One last review of an actual game. Don't worry, we're not going anywhere for the rest for the summer. Don't worry, we'll go over that. Good evening, welcome to the 12th Man Podcast, live on Facebook, The Red, where you can listen to us on Spotify, Amazon, Deezer, wherever you can possibly think of. We've managed to wiggle our way into that little space. I'm Steve Jackson, I'm your host for the evening, as usual. If you looked at me, I've got Mr. John Cutler with me. Evening.
Evening. How we doing, guys?
We're doing good. Mr. Steve Dixon's with us. Evening, Dicko.
Evening, lads, okay?
Yeah, we're doing good. And someone from in the future, it's now Tuesday, with him, legend it is, Ry's with us. Evening,
Hey! What's
evening
going
to us.
on?
Evening to us, morning to you. How are you?
Morning.
How are we doing?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Bit tired, 4 a.m., but, up the borough. We're the best team in the world.
4 a.m. Wow. That was me going to bed on Sunday morning, man. But no, always a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we'll have a little chat about, I suppose, your big career decisions, hearing about your retirement from all your live streams. That was a bit of a weird one. What? I mean, before I start talking about football, what made you think now's the time to stop?
About my live streams?
Yeah, like your watch-alongs.
Oh, no, they're going to come back. They're just, they need a revamp. So they'll come back to the start of next season. They just, they need a revamp. We need to do some scoreboard sort of, and, stuff and just get some more graphics and stuff like that. But they'll come back. Don't worry, Stevie, mate. They're not going anywhere. They'll come back start of next season. And, yeah, they've been great. They've been tough. There's been a lot of them that, obviously the 5 a.m., 2 a.m. kickoffs and stuff like that. Sometimes they're a bit rough to get up for, but wouldn't have it any other way. But hopefully, mate, the start of next season, I can be there in person. I don't need to do a watch along. That's the plan anyway.
Ooh, there you go. There's one for you.
There you go, eh?
That's like exclusive for us. No, it's the hashtag wake the neighbours would be straight in the bin. It's the greatest hashtag ever. If you haven't seen this guy do his stuff, I'd insist you go onto his YouTube page in Rictus. It's absolutely fantastic. He literally does wake the neighbours. I don't know how many neighbours he goes through in a year, but wow.
Yeah. We've had to move. We've been evicted a few times. It's fine.
Next year's live stream is Ry on the lash with us lot.
Yes, mate. Keen. We waken more than neighbours. Don't you worry about that. Love that.
Wake the whole of Teesside. That's what we'll be doing. Game on. Right. So we're going to talk about Watford. Time's a little bit of an end of season finale, but some very promising signs that we'll go through. There's a big question we need to ask Ry about a certain Australian. We need to ask the question because there's no point asking everybody apart from this one because he'll know. And then we'll talk about our personal moments, our best moment personally for each one of us, our worst moments, and then we'll preview what we're going to talk about next week. So yeah, right then, Cuts. Team came out 11:30. We were stood in the fan zone. Couple of pints in. Couple of changes. Big one for me was Law McCabe coming in. I thought that was a very bold but impressive move by Carrick to give him, especially after Thursday night. Thursday night he got obviously the Academy Graduate of the Year. They say he's been fantastic. He's been with the team all season, as a certain guest told us last week, Mr. Jonathan Housen. I don't know if you have listened. Please do listen if you haven't. Yes, Law McCabe into the team, and I thought it was deserved as well. I thought it was about time he got his chance to really shine from the start.
Yeah, I was glad Gilbert kept his place. Good to see McCabe in. I think we've talked the last couple of weeks about slowly introducing some of the young lads. We asked Johnny last week about players that have impressed him that have been training in and around the squad. Lord McCabe was one of them. AJ Matthews was another one. And he mentioned a couple of other names. And I mean, Wilson there got a couple of minutes right at the end. And this club's been built on for years. Young players coming through the ranks and starting off the careers here and having good careers here before. If they move on to something better in the future, then that's a plus for the club as well, because we're going to get a transfer fee. So it's good to see the youth. The system is still working at this football club, and the future is bright.
Exactly. And if it's anything like your tan, the future is orange. But no. And the best thing is about that.
Cheeky.
I know. It's the end of the season. I can be.
Don't laugh with him, Ry. Don't laugh with him.
But the best thing about, you mentioned Young Wilson coming on there in the last few minutes. That was a big moment, because that was because obviously Borough released all the legacy numbers.
Yep.
If you want to have a giggle, number 666 is Paul Merson. There's a giggle for you straight away. That was funny. That's when I saw that one. But anywho, especially all the stories he's got with Gaza. If you haven't seen them, go and have a look. He's number 999, Young Wilson.
Yep.
Which means next transfer in is number 1,000.
Not necessarily the next transfer in. Next player to make his deal.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's something that the club can say is a bit of a thing. You could be playing number 1,000, put that shirt on.
Yeah. Well,
do you fancy it?
999.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's really good. There you go. Sharon's recognised the colour of your skin already. Well done. Before we move on to what Dicko thinks about the team, evening Sharon, I did tell you about Leeds. I did tell you. I did warn you. It's not my fault. Dicko, what did you make of the team when the team came out? We just obviously, while you were fixing your technical difficulties, we were obviously talking about Law McCabe coming into the team, muchly deserved. But and yeah, the team was. I mean, the bench was full of kids more than anything, wasn't it?
It was. The team was fine. I was quite pleased to see Law McCabe get a game. Why not? It's the last day of the season. In front of the home supporters, give some young talent a chance. No problem with that whatsoever. That's the future of Middlesbrough Football Club. Yeah, I was fairly happy with the starting lineup. Luke Thomas is a strange one, because I was surprised to see Luke Thomas starting ahead of Bangura. Now, this might be unpopular opinion, but I think Luke Thomas has been okay the last few games and got better. When he first came, I said on here, I expected Luke Thomas to be straight in the team with his talent. He was on the verges of the England squad a couple of years ago, played in FA Cup finals with Leicester and blah, blah, blah. When he come into Middlesbrough and he started playing, I was massively disappointed. He looked way off the levels, and he was pretty poor, to be honest. But I think the last sort of 3 games, he's shown a little bit more what he's about. And I thought he had a decent game on Saturday. He should have scored, don't get us wrong, but I thought he had a decent game. And I don't know, I might be completely way off, but he's a free transfer in the summer. And I think it was a big indication that Michael Carrick rates him highly. The fact that he's kept him in the team, he started him on Saturday. And if he's a free in the summer, I wouldn't be surprised if Michael Carrick brings him back to Middlesbrough next season. Because I think he's got more than he's shown in a Middlesbrough shirt. But
you said there about might not be a popular opinion. Here's one: Thomas is better than Engel, in my opinion, far better, and will be better for this football club.
Long term, I think it's a fair point. Cuts. I think it's a fair point. Long term, he's obviously got a lot of quality. He's only 22, and he hasn't achieved what he already has in the game for nothing. And I think he's just got off to a bad start at Middlesbrough with a few really insipid performances, and fans straight away make an opinion. We all do. We make opinions on footballers pretty quickly, but sometimes we get proven wrong. And it wouldn't surprise me to see him back at this football club if he's a free transfer. But we'll wait and see. But yeah, getting back to the original point, the team that Michael Carrick put out on Saturday was fine by me.
Yeah, I mean, I'll mention something a bit later that give me a bit of an indication. I don't think Thomas is going to be staying, to be quite honest. But I don't know. Like I say, I'm not part of the hierarchy. I hope he does, because I'm with you. I think the last few games he's been good. been very good, and he's given us a glimpse of what we actually expected when he joined as well. So, hopefully he gets another chance to give it another go next season. But Ryan, what did you make of the team when you woke up? Towards the early hours in lovely Australia. Is it not cold there yet? Because it never gets cold in Australia.
No, it's getting cold now. It's actually, what is it now? 12 degrees? Is that cold? It's not that cold, is it really?
No, that's not cold.
No.
Might be cold
12,
for an Aussie.
12 degrees for me. I've got a jumper on, you know what I mean? I've got long pants on, got my Ugg boots on. So, yeah, it's cold here. I've got my hands in my pockets, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
It's 12 degrees here right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, to match you, it's starting to. We're in our winter now. But yeah, though the team was as expected. I didn't expect Carrick to make wholesale changes. We've seen that he's pushing for the best result that he can. I was listening to Bernie just before, and he was saying that he thinks that it's because the pressure was off that the boys were performing and stuff like that. But I honestly think it was just this team gelling finally. And I agree with Thomas. I think he's been fantastic last couple of games, but I'd hate to see him take Bangura out of that squad, because Bangura, when he came on, my goodness me, geez, he was fantastic and he was lightning. So if we still put Thomas, Engel, and Bangura all in that spot next season, then Bangura's got to start for me, and maybe Thomas, and then unfortunately, yeah, you're right, Engel falls away from that, because you would think Bangura and Thomas are that front too. But yeah, look, Lorne McCabe, absolutely fantastic. Didn't look out of place at all. Young kid, had bright pink boots on as well. Couldn't miss him. And he had that flair, that technology. I honestly looked at him and I was like, I honestly kept having second looks just to see is that Hayden Hackney out there? Like, it's honestly that they were just so similar, in the same stature, same build. He was fantastic. I thought his passing and movement was fantastic. Alex Gilbert, again, obviously didn't get on score sheet, but that tackle, did you see that tackle that he ran down the hole? Oh my goodness, he was fantastic. So yeah, look, it was fantastic to see that the majority of that team that was starting there, maybe there's a couple of question marks on a few, but the majority of them you would expect to be there day one of next season. And that's the most important thing, isn't it? It's only 2 and a bit months now, obviously, that we've got to live without Carrick Ball, which, I don't know about you, I'm going to cry every day, but we just got to. What was so exciting was seeing what was on that pitch. You would expect, without a summer overhaul like we had last season, that the majority of them will be there day one, and we don't have to have that regelling, that rebuilding of confidence, because the majority of those boys will be playing together again start of next season, and then you can bring in a Lorne McCabe, hopefully maybe an AJ Matthews or something like that off the bench as well, and that just feeds the club in, hopefully, through an injury crisis if we ever have one again, but touch wood, we never do.
No, an interesting point you said there, Ry. Just quickly, because I wrote this down earlier to ask you guys later in the show what you thought. And after the game, Michael Carrick was obviously buoyant and happy and looking forward to next season and wanting to bring in players only with a bit more quality that's going to improve the squad for next season, which is great news. But if you look, if we had everybody fit pre-season, if we were picking our strongest side now, I'm picking mine here, then I've went Dieng, Luke Ayling to sign, Rav Vandenberg, Clark, Bangura, Hayden Hackney, Howson, behind the striker, Isaiah Jones, McGree and Azaz, and Lati Alath up top. If we're bringing in 4 players that potentially are better than that starting 11, or to put them under pressure, we're in for a good season next season, because that starting 11 I've just named now would do very, very well in a good championship season.
Oh yeah.
So if we're bringing in 4 players to attack that squad for them first team places, I think it's very exciting this summer, and it's going to be interesting to see if we're only going to target 4 big signings. I think it'll be exciting, because they're not going to be the type of signings that were brought in last summer, which were all sort of projects and players to get better. And when you think about it, the job that last season were done, bringing those players in, bringing in Lati Alaf, Dieng, Rogers, who have been massive successes in Vandenberg. And then even the players just on the periphery in Gilbert, Bangura, Engel, Silvera, Glover, none of those have went backwards. They've all improved themselves just in experience in game time. And, if that's, that was last season where we're targeting sort of projects and players to evolve. And they've all done well and improved themselves in terms of value and quality. If now we've got the sort of, we're going for 4 top players or 5 top players, I think it'll be incredibly exciting to see A, who we're going for, B, what we spend, and C, if they can get into that starting 11 that I've just mentioned.
No, you're right.
Yeah, I think it's tweaks, isn't it? It's tweaks that we need this summer. It's not an overhaul, which is fantastic. Over last season, we saw 13 players come in. You know what I mean? And this season, you're saying 4. It's just tweaks to this squad that's already brilliant now, and that's fantastic. That we don't need to, obviously we're going to have to be reactive if there is a player that chooses to leave, gets a better offer. You know what I mean? And obviously that's part of the transfer window, isn't it? But sitting here right now, if you're Kieran Scott, you can go right. We can just tweak this a little bit. We can bring 1, 2, 3 in, maybe just bolster this squad a bit, and bang, we go straight out of the gates, ready to go.
You think Kieran Scott there, with the limited budget he had last season to bring in 10, 12 players, how well he done to identify Vandenberg, Latiolaf, Rogers, Seni Dieng, Bangura, how he done on that budget to bring those players to the football club. It's exciting to think if he's got a similar budget or a bigger budget, what he can do when he's only going to bring in 4.
Yeah, exactly. You're not wrong.
If you look at the strength of the spine of the team, apart from centre forward, we've got Lath, but we definitely need at least 1 more centre forward. Goalkeeper, high-end championship player. We've got 4 centre halves, although I'm not massively over keen on Fry, but we've got 4 decent standard championship players there at centre half, including an 18-year-old centre half who's just won all the plaudits last week. We rave about every week. Howson, Hackney in midfield, 2 high-end championship players. Latiolaf, without injuries this year, would definitely have broke the 20-goal barrier. He's been on fire. We've got the basis of a really good squad. And then you add players like Azaz, who's only going to get better. We've raved about in the last few weeks. Isaiah Jones, we all know what he can do. If he can add a little bit more consistency to his game, top player in this league. There's a lot to be positive about for next season for me.
Big time. It's going to be an exciting summer for a Borough fan. I know last year we fully expected the overhaul because the amount of starts that we had in, it was always going to be difficult to replicate what we produced last year. But it just shows give the lads a year, which we've done. We've given them all a year, and they've come to their own. And they've shown, like Dicko said there, in their own little ways, how they've improved and how they've got better and how they've actually pushed themselves into the squad as well, which is amazing.
Well, just a player there I forgot to mention, and thanks Jeff for mentioning him, Marcus Force.
Oh yeah,
another really good championship player.
Yeah, not wrong. Yeah.
So we have got options all over the pitch.
We have. And like you said there, right? Yes, we are going to have to be a little bit reactive in the summer, because there is going to be a couple of clubs that will come calling. I'm very nervous about the ones that will start calling for Latiolaf. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit nervous about that. If he can play half to 3/4 of a season as well as that, and he had injury problems as well, I'm a bit nervous about what he'll do in the full season.
I don't think anybody's going to come in for Latiolaf in the summer because he's just signed for Middlesbrough. He's been in and out of the team. He's had a great end of the season. I think Premiership teams would want to look to see how he does next season for Middlesbrough. Now, hopefully, if Middlesbrough are in the mix for promotion, that means that Latiolaf will be more than happy to stay in Middlesbrough and progress, and Middlesbrough will be more than happy to keep him. I think the question would come if Latiolaf starts the season next season very well, banging in goals, and Middlesbrough aren't pushing for promotion, which I don't see. But for people to come in for Latiolaf and offer money, ridiculous money in the summer, I don't see that. There might be a cheeky bid comes in for him from somewhere, but Steve Gibson's already said we don't need to sell this summer. But obviously, if we get a ridiculous bid for somebody, we'd have to consider it. I don't see anybody giving a ridiculous bid for Latiolaf. So I think we'll be okay with him next season. And his comments after the game on Saturday were wonderful for me when he spoke about being happy here and looking to, gutted that he missed out in the playoffs, but can't wait for next season. Didn't want the season to end. Loves the supporters. Loves his chant. He seems in a good place. So I think personally would take something ridiculous, but Latte will have not to be our number 9 next season.
I think we've talked about it before. We talked about it a few weeks ago. For players to leave this football club, it's going to need big bids. So this paper talk about Hayden Hackney going to West Ham for 18 million. 18 million? They're having a laugh. This football club won't sell him for 18 million.
Which leg do they want?
And if they do, I'll be very, very surprised. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he only signed an extension to his contract either during the season or before the start of this season.
Yeah.
So he's got plenty of time left in his contract. I agree with Dicko about Latte Lath. Sign him for £5 million. What type of money is it going to cost any club to come in?
Yeah, exactly.
And take him away from this club? You're looking 15 million plus. I know we got less for Akpom, but Akpom was a lot older. Had only had one season. There's a lot more potential, and dare I say it, to me, he looks a better player than Akpom. So therefore, I'd be looking minimum £15 million. Would it be worthwhile this club selling someone 1 year into his contract for a £10 million profit and possibly risk promotion? For me, you don't do it.
Well, I said to you, then on the way in, I said, you have all come out started with your own popular opinions. I actually rate Latte Lath higher than Akpom. People will fire back at me and say, yeah, but Akpom scored 29 goals in the season. Yeah, he only did it once.
He had an exceptional season. He was outstanding.
He was exactly. He was outstanding, but it took him so many years to do it. It took Latte Lath 6 months to settle into a league.
Yeah, exactly.
And hit the ground running. And the kid's only 24 years old.
Exactly.
If people are going to say, well, why don't we bring Akpom back from Ajax in the summer? Give him the choice we've got now. I'd rather keep Latte Lath, to be quite honest. That's my opinion, but.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I wouldn't have Akpom back. I think behind Latte Lath he'd be really good, but we've got to realise what we've got here, and it's not worthwhile us selling a player for £10 million and risk promotion next season, a £10 million profit even, and risk promotion next season. It's got to be big bucks. Hackney's worth more than 18 million in today's market,
of course he is.
In my opinion.
He's English.
Yeah, West Ham have got too many issues. I mean, they can't even decide whether they want David Moyes, and then they're going after the ex-Wolves boss now. So, yeah, good luck to your West Ham. Try calling. We won't pick up. And Akpom coming back. I've heard the rumors about that as well. But his wages now, when he went to Ajax, are huge. Obviously, it's Champions League football and stuff like that he was promised there. So, I don't think we can afford his wages to come back, nor the buyout that we'd be buying. And Latte Lath, he literally messaged me on Instagram just this morning saying, mate, can't wait. He didn't say mate. His English is pretty bad, by the way. And I'm going to try and decipher it. But it's something along the lines of, my bro, I love you. Can't wait. Get to Riverside. Start next season. We go. So.
It's better English than some of us talk on here, right?
Yeah, not wrong, mate.
He's got the Teesside twang nailed to a T.
Yeah, it does.
It's amazing. But I mean, now we're talking about him. That leads us on perfectly the first goal. Another assist in the column for Ayling, number 9 for the season, which is amazing. The only thing is that when I saw that number, I don't know if that includes anything he did for Leeds before he signed for us. I don't know, but if that's just for us, that's incredible. 9.
Yeah, I think it is just for us.
It's just us. Yeah, just us.
Wow. You know what I mean? Jesus. You know what I mean? That's incredible. And I say, as soon as the ball went in the box, we confidently said where I was, that's in. That's in. It just looked in. See, you saw the goal in Ry, walk up half the street. Goal number 16 in the league. The boy, we spoke so high in the last 5 minutes, but he's got everything, hasn't he?
He does. He really does. Latte is he's just got that knack, hasn't he? He's just found that sort of form just to be able to be in the right spot at the right time. And even he shanked that. Do you know what I mean? He kind of got caught in the grass and he kind of stepped on it and kind of bubbled, but it still had that much sort of direction on it that, Backman had no chance. And what he gets, the service he gets from Ayling though, do you know what I mean? Any strike, it's a striker's dream to get, balls into the box from what Luke Ayling's putting in. I mean, jeez, I tell you what, give me that man bun any day of the week. That's the service he gives is just incredible down that right. And yeah, Middlesbrough definitely. And we heard about it after the game. Middlesbrough was saying, both Carrick and Ayling were saying there's a deal close. They hope, and you'd be spitting chips if he wasn't on in a Middlesbrough shirt day one of next season, because what he did and his link up with Latte was absolutely just delicious.
That interview reminded me of a lot we had last week with Johnny Howson.
Yeah,
where without him saying it's getting signed this week, we more or less, and anyone was listening could tell that was going to happen. Yeah. I'd be absolutely amazed if Ayling had a turnaround and went to somewhere else. I think he's nailed on that he's going to come here now. And for me, for a free, experienced pro, all day long. And he looked really good around the squad. He's celebrating all the goals, getting involved. And I love to see all that, me. I'm going to come to it later on about Banguras, but
fantastic. That was brilliant. It was funny as. Dicko, great finish. I say, the kid he's just exceeded our expectations this year, and like Ry said there, it was even the miss hits seem to be hitting the bottom corner now, and there's no stop. It's just come at a bad time, the end of the season, but his form's been absolutely immaculate. Yeah,
he's outstanding. As I say, I thought it was a complete centre forwards performance on Saturday from him. He scored a goal, which was a tidy finish, but his work rate's incredible. He runs the channels. He comes back and helps defensively. Those two centre backs, Wesley Hoyt and was it Francisco? I wrote his name down. Serralta or something like that. He's called Serralta.
Who was that again? What was his first
San
Francisco.
Francisco Serralta. That's what he was called. Yeah, sounds like a town from Italy, doesn't it?
He might as well have been in San Francisco. He got that
close. But he absolutely ran the two of them ragged. They tried everything in the book. They tried to elbow him. They tried to hustle him. They went head to head with him. They kicked them up in the air. They've done everything possible, like two big thug-like centre halves would do. But Latte laugh. He's small in stature, but he's a giant of a man, and he's strong as an ox. And I think they were really surprised at how strong he was, and he bounced back up, and he come back at them for more. He went toe-to-toe with them all game. And he was like a wasp. He was just all over them. They were frustrated with him. They were annoyed at him. They had a terrible afternoon with him. And the Watford manager cleverly after the game identified Latte Laugh as the player that he thought was really good after the game. And that'll probably be because the two centre-backs went in the dressing room and said, thank God that game's over. He's been a nightmare to mark. He was absolutely, in my opinion, on Saturday, fantastic. And I particularly watched him second half because I was enjoying the battle that he was having with the two centre-backs, because there was a lot going off the ball, if you know what I'm saying. And I kept an eye on him. It just seemed to inspire Latte Laugh to irritate them even more and chase and harry and hassle them and get blocks in. And it was just a really good performance by him. And as I say, next season, he can only get better.
Oh, can he, Dicko?
He's gone.
Really good on Saturday. There's no negatives with Latte Laugh at the moment.
So
no negatives.
The two players are Wesley Hoot and Francisco Serralta.
So that was one wasp winding up two hornets.
Yeah, not wrong.
I'm here all week.
I hope you know.
Wesley Hoyt, honestly, was just begging for a red card. He left everything. The amount of I could see it on the TV. You boys probably saw it a bit, even more live. Dicko saying there that he was watching him off the ball. You could see after every tackle on Latte Laugh, he'd give him a little bit more. It's an elbow. It's the slow to get up. It's using him to get up on his knees, dropping his knee into him. Whatever he could do, you could tell Latte had gotten under his skin, and that's an experienced. He's their captain. Do you know what I mean? He's an experienced defender, and he's going to come up against that week in, week out. You know what I mean? A couple of months ago, we had Sammy Silveira up front. Do you know what I mean? Now we got Latte Laugh up front, getting, bullying two experienced, obviously Pollock maybe not as, but son of Jamie as well, by the way. But it's just, it's just incredible to see. And you're absolutely right. He's just that niggling striker that even if he's not doing, scoring goals or whatever, he's going to be taking that centre back's, attention, going, where's Latte? All of a sudden, Alex Gilbert, Marcus Force, Izzy Jones and all that have got space because they're so directed on Latte, and it's absolutely fantastic. Love what he does.
I mean, Dicko mentioned earlier about the physical side of the game. That's one thing that I didn't expect from him. He doesn't shirk the physical side of the game against massive centre halves. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's not like a 6'4" centre forward. You know what I mean? Who can put himself about, but he doesn't shirk that side of the game.
His jump when he jumps for header, his leap time, his hang time is ridiculous.
Huge.
When he gets in the air. It's especially against the big centre halves such as Wesley Hoot. That's only going to help next season. It's only going to benefit us so much more, especially if we get a bit more pace round him to run off him and that little flicks. All of a sudden we're gone. So
It pains me to say it, but his leaps like Alan Shearer-esque, because Alan Shearer wasn't the big, tall centre forward, but he was very, very good for his size in the air, and it pains us to say it. But when the ball comes in the box, you actually fancy that he'll have to win headers, which he should never be winning, but he does. And I think he scored 4, possibly 5 headers this season.
It's been wild. Yeah.
Because it's all about the timing as well. And if you've got the spring and you've got the timing, it doesn't matter if the defender's taller than him. If he gets the spring, gets up early, he's got the advantage, and he's clever like that. He's a really good player.
Yeah, just before we talk about that second goal, I just want to apologise for the language used there in that last sentence. Come on, in the bin. We don't talk about that mug. Right, second goal. The second goal was exactly the same sort of finish. Scruffy, great ball across again from, I think it was Sam Greenwood, wasn't it?
Greenwood,
brilliant play by Greenwood.
Great feat, Greenwood.
Right,
Oh, absolutely. But the best part about that goal was the celebration. Semi Dieng showed a bit of pace, the change of pace that I've never seen before, and all of a sudden, before you knew it, he was in the middle of it all.
He was as quick as Latte, wasn't he? Getting up there?
Loved it.
He was.
Absolutely loved it. And that, for me, shows how good that team unity is.
Yeah.
The keeper has sprinted 80 yards to do a bit of a dance with Bangura, because we're all singing Bangura in the and doing the Mexican dance in the north stand, you know. But it was. I
tell you one thing. You talk about team unity. It shows how highly Bangura is thought of by the other players.
Absolutely.
That he had a spell on the sideline with injuries. He comes across as a really, really good lad. And there was some stills that the club put out on Twitter yesterday. There was one Barlasser was right near him, and then there was one of Aylan. I think it was Aylan that was like flying on top of them. And you know, it's great. It's last game of the season. No one's going to suffer any injuries. It's great to see the squad celebrating like that.
Yeah.
I love it, mate. I love it.
It was good
stuff like that. It's but yeah, the finish. But then the third. When that third goal went in, I thought back to our podcast last week, and everybody heard me say 5-2, and everybody went, "Are you nuts?" As soon as that third went in, I thought these have actually crumbled. They've crumbled. You could see the keeper looking at the centre half going, "I want this to be over so bad. I just want it to be done and finished so we can go home." Because they didn't look the slightest bit interested. Watford. As soon as they went 2-1 down, they didn't look bothered one bit. But the finish, the ball back in across from Aylan, the finish from Jones, right? That is exactly what we want Izzy to do. If he's going to be cutting in from the right hand side to be in that place, that's the finish he's got to be doing more consistent next season, hasn't he?
Oh, absolutely incredible. I mean, the Bangura one first was just incredible team spirit, and Michael Carrick's motto. I mean, you've heard it all season is about getting that team spirit. That, you know, he said, you know, the dressing room is so important in terms of the boys getting on. And, you know, if they're not getting on, then he doesn't want them. And he even says, you know, you even hear him when he's talking about transfers and stuff like that. You know, he's like, yeah, if they buy into the dressing room and they buy into what we're doing, and you just see that with Alex Bangura. We you know, it's easy to forget. Bangura was the captain of the team he came from. Do you know what I mean? He was their captain, and he left to come to Middlesbrough. He was, you know, as a left back. There's not many left back captains getting around, and he was the captain of that previous team that he came from to come over here. So enormous respect. I mean, he tore that hamstring. Do you know what I mean? You remember? I remember the groan when he went down. You know, he was in agony, and to him to come back and then to score that goal was just it was just absolute scenes. And I love Bangura's comment where he's just like, geez, Latte, just let me celebrate without tackling me, sort of thing, because Latte was the first one there, just bringing him to the ground, and it's fantastic. And then Izzy Jones, mate, Izzy Jones he signed that new deal, and I think that was sort of he's been more free, hasn't he? He's got that new deal now. He's ready to go. He's just primed. He's obviously had that mental issues that were bothering him last season, and we love him, and we let him get through that, and you know, and he was just, you know, and then he comes back this season, and he's just everything that you want in a right winger. He's got that skill to beat 2-3 players on his day. He can cut in. He's in the right spot. He's a fantastic right winger. Is he? And I can't believe, we get to see more of him for another 3 years, because he's honestly going to be such a highlight down that right wing for many years to come. And then him linking up with Ayling as well. It's just, we've seen that this season, and I think that was a bit let down over times with, you know, Paddy McNair and Rav Vandenberg and all that going in that right back role, where we're a bit open there because Izzy Jones was kind of like, do I have to come back and help? You know what I mean? Because we didn't have that recognised right back. But as soon as Ailing came in and was consistently in there, it allowed Izzy to be more free. And then obviously you got the freeness on the pitch, and then you got the freeness of a new contract, and bang, Izzy Jones next season. I'm telling you, put money on him. He's gonna be fantastic for us.
Absolutely. And then I'll come to you, Dicko, because you apart from a Watford header, you had the result bang on. It was a perfect finish to a pretty decent afternoon. I know at times it seemed a bit of you could tell it was an end of season game because both sides were a bit tippy tappy with it. But then once we kicked into gear, Watford just didn't look the slightest bit bothered. They'd been on the beach for weeks, you could tell, but we finished the season off exactly how we wanted to.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought Middlesbrough were good value for the victory.
Yeah,
and I was disappointed when we conceded that the equaliser, and I was pleased because I thought the third goal made the scoreline a bit more realistic. I thought. I think it was Azaz with the ball in behind, and Elan got on the ball and got in there, and as I say, a perfect cutback for Jones to smash it past the keeper. And I thought 3-1 put a bit more of a realistic score in the game and give Middlesbrough what they deserved, which was a good home victory. As I say, I quite enjoyed Saturday for many reasons. Obviously, meeting you guys before the game was one. But also, I just thought the atmosphere was good. It was a very positive, buoyant atmosphere around the stadium. Everybody seemed happy to be there. The sort of the run we've been on to end the season, what we've been discussing about the positivity going into next season. There's a real good feel factor about Middlesbrough at the moment in terms of what we could have achieved this season had it not been for injuries, but also what we can achieve going into next season in terms of players coming in, players coming back from injury, players improving. And I mean, I thought for the last day of the season, a dead rubber against Watford, to get over 28,000 was absolutely. I thought over 28,000 was absolutely mega support on the day.
And there wasn't
really
many
good.
Watford either. There wasn't many of them.
No, there wasn't.
I think they only had a couple. I think 500-600 they brought. So they say we had just under 27,500 smoggies in that stadium. Was
I think we can talk about the fans there, but Sharon's just messaged in saying, Carrick, he's got a master plan and he's about to release it next season. And I think the fans have bought into that. They can see, like we've mentioned, the transfers we had in the summer were to boost this squad. And I think the plan, although we were never going to write this season off, I think the plan was to build for next season, where we do, like we've said, sprinkle a couple of players in. But I can't help thinking, I think Ry mentioned it earlier about at times you had Silvera up front, Greenwood's played centre forward. I just think if we have had a laugh all season, I think we'd have made the playoffs. I really do.
It's great that she's actually mentioned release, because that's what Leeds will have to do with half that squad if you don't go up in 2 weeks' time. Just FYI. Norwich ain't easy, we all know. So there you go, as Dicko sorts out his problems. But it's for me, the end of the season is always a bit of a it's over. But the amount of excitement I've got for next season already is
Well, what did we finish?
huge.
Was it 1 defeat in 11, 1 in 12, or something like that? Wasn't it? It was a really good end of the season, and it couldn't be more polar opposite to the end of last season, where we sort of
fell over the line.
Form-wise, we stumbled,
drifted
into the playoffs. Our position was safe of being in the playoffs, but we sort of stumbled in form-wise. People were concerned 5, maybe 6 games before the end, and this season we can now go into next season. Lath will be sky high for the start of next season. Hopefully he's fit, and so will the rest of that squad. And I mentioned a couple of weeks ago about bringing players in the summer. Doesn't take much to sell this football club, but an extra selling point is, back in last season, we lost 1 in 12. I'm looking at bringing 3 or 4 top quality players to go in with this squad, and I'm expecting us to go really close. It's a big challenge for players to come into this club.
And share another 1,000. I'm telling you, it's a big pull. That if you have the honour of having that 1,000th shirt, I think that's a big honour. I think that'll be a big one for a big player. But just before I ask you his man of the match, Dicko mentioned there, obviously he'll be back in a little bit anyway, about the atmosphere and everything. I just want to put a big, massive well done to the Red faction. Firstly, for the shout out for Retro Shirt Day. So the Red side looked very colourful Saturday, very colourful. It was amazing. and the sign they put up for, because I know they're doing a charity event in the summer, which we're part of next month, for Mind, and that Mind banner went up, and it's a charity I'm very close with. It helped me a lot. It helps a lot of people, especially during the off season, because people use football as a bit of a release, a bit of a distraction from normal life, and they've lost that now for 2.5 months. So it's big of them to hand out all them leaflets as well for any number they could possibly need. And, you know, don't stay away from your footballing mates. It's only 2.5 months, 10 weeks, once a week a message. That's all it takes. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, massive. I thought I've got to mention them lads to say massive well done to what they did over the past week or so. But I'll start with you then, Cut. Man of the match for Saturday.
I'm going to give it to Whelan. I thought he was really good.
Okay.
I was tempted to give it to Law McCabe. I thought he was neat and tidy for his debut. I thought it was a good debut, good solid debut.
Good
Didn't look
debut.
out of place. And he's a young lad, so I was torn, but I'm going to give it to Ayling.
Yeah, I'm going to say Ayling as well. Rye, are you going to make a hat trick? Are you going to say Luke Ayling? Or?
Yeah, I will. I don't want to go against yous. I love yous too much. So, yeah, I'll say Ayling. But I have to give a mention to Matt Clark, my big bald eagle. He was fantastic once again. What an absolute centre-back he's become for us this season. I mean, without Lenihan, you know, if we had Lenihan fit, McNair and all that this season, we probably wouldn't have seen Matt Clark. And, you know, by God's grace, with all the injuries, we found, you know, honestly, Lenihan and Fry have got a big job on their hands to get past Rav Vandenberg and Matt Clark starting next season.
Old school defender, put his body on the line.
Yeah.
He's
Just throws him around. He's fantastic.
He's fantastic. It's I'm going to start tapping myself on the top back again. It's someone I've raved about for months. I love him. I think he's brilliant, and especially the start he had with the club as well. And obviously he got injured within 2-3 games, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Got stuck in against Leeds. Obviously gave away the penalty within a couple of minutes coming on. You know, bad luck. But after that, he fitted in straight away. He looked solid. And from that moment onwards, he's been one of the first players on the team sheet.
People seem to forget he was out for pretty much a year, just over a year. Whatever it was. He was out for a long time, and I think, I think he's different to the other centre halves. Would like to say, put his head into if there's feet flying. He's really good, and if we said it right now, he's probably the second best centre half at the club.
Yeah.
So Vandenberg and Clark, quite possibly, our best two to go into start of next season.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Dicko, finish off with yourself. We've all gone for Ayling, man of the match. You're going to make it 4 out of 4. You're going to pick someone else.
Sorry about that, by the way. I've had a few gremlins tonight.
Don't apologise. It's all right.
Man of the match for me was Latte Laugh. I thought he was absolutely fantastic all game for the reasons I gave earlier on. But if you have went with Ayling, which I'm gathering you have, that's fine by me, because I thought Ayling was outstanding on Saturday. 2 assists, drove forward. I thought he linked up with Jones extremely well. Yeah. So I would have no problem with Ayling getting man of the match, but I would have just went with Latte Laugh because of his work rate. I thought it was outstanding.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you're absolutely right. It's right. We'll move on.
Well, when we move on, one thing I want to mention: the club put a tweet out, didn't they, about Paddy McNair?
Yes, that's what I've got to move on to.
We all would have had him back in the right terms, but he's been an excellent pro for this football club. The whole time he's been here, never caused any problems. Yeah. Excellent professional, no matter where he was asked to play. Centre half, right back, left back, centre midfield. He would have played anywhere. And Howson was on about it last week, Johnny, about players' attitudes, and we can't fault him. I think he's been fantastic for this football club. So good luck, Paddy, in whatever. Unless I think he's been slightly unlucky. Future.
I think he's been slightly unlucky in the fact that he might have got offered a contract on lesser terms, but I think the emergence of Matt Clark coming back from injury and how well Rav Vandenberg has done is basically sealed his fate, because we've already got Dale Fry at the club also, and Paddy McNair, and the money was on and the contract he was on, was never going to hang around Middlesbrough being a 4th or 5th choice centre back or a squad player that isn't going to play very often. Yeah. And he always gave his all for Middlesbrough, Paddy, and he was flexible in terms of he never caused a fuss when he got moved around. He played midfield, he played full back, he played centre back, and I always thought he was a really good player for Middlesbrough, and I do wish him well, because whoever signs him, if it's a championship club, they'll get a good player there.
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. He's yeah, it's sad to see Paddy go, but I think
I don't necessarily.
as a club, I think we felt it was the time.
I was just going to say,
Yeah.
I don't necessarily disagree with the club letting him go.
Yeah,
No.
It's
No.
just sort of more of a thank you from all of us as fans
definitely.
for what he's put into the
100%.
football club.
when you become the 5th choice centre half behind,
Yeah.
you know, especially behind an 18-year-old, and he's not. By the way, he's not a normal 18-year-old. This kid,
Yeah.
he's something I've never seen before. It says everything, doesn't it? You know, he's 5th choice now. He's got to the point in his career, especially, you know, he's massively involved with the Northern Irish team. He'll want to keep his spot with them as they push on, you know, and they're qualified for the World Cup. He'll want to keep his spot with them, and they won't keep his space if he's not playing.
And not just that, I think it was, I don't know if it was Instagram or some kind of social media that I don't have, but he'd put a nice message out thanking everyone at the football club,
Yeah.
which shows what type of a guy he is as well.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly.
No, I absolutely loved him. I've heard Rangers. That's the talk I've heard of the Rangers. So in the Scottish Prem. So yeah, I wish him all the best. 6 years, and you know, but it's been funny because you know, ever since day one, he always wanted to be a midfielder. You know what I mean? But he was never put into a midfielder. Do you remember that battle? He always said that he was a midfielder, a centre defensive mid. You know, in his eyes, he was that Hayden Hackney, that Johnny Howson, but he never did it. But then he just he just got in and did his job, and he went centre back, right back, like he went wherever the bosses put him, over the years, and he went, we went through a few gaffers as well during his time. So, yeah, look, honestly, I'm so thankful for him, and look, he saw the light. He left Sunderland, and any player that leaves Sunderland is good in my book. So,
can't disagree with that.
I hope Ted off the breakfast show is listening.
Yeah,
as long as he doesn't end up unless he re-signs for them, then we'll be changed over next week.
Yeah,
if you're listening, Ted, mind the gap.
Yeah, 13 points clear they were at one point. 13 points behind they finished.
Yeah,
count them. I know people in struggles sometimes struggle to count to 13, but we will get every single finger for you. Mind that gap. See you next year. But yeah, there's one question I do want to ask you, Ry.
Yes.
Few people have popped up. You know what's coming.
Yes.
You know what's coming.
I do.
A certain Australian,
yes.
a couple of messages, obviously tonight. He's our first choice left winger. He'll get in the team, for his talent.
Yep.
What is the latest on Riley McGree? Firstly, where's he gone? Has he come back to your shores? And secondly, will he be back in the UK in July?
Yeah, it's a good question. Obviously, Tom Glover's a fantastic goalkeeper. He's hurt his finger. Obviously, Riley's back here. He's in Adelaide. He took some time off. The club allowed him to come back and sort of. He's in a moon boot. He had some surgery. Obviously, his family's here. His partner Geordie, she's from Adelaide as well. So he was allowed to come back over here.
She's called what?
No, she's called Geordie. I know it's
Geordie.
Jordy. I know. I'm sorry, but to burst that bubble. But yeah, look, he's I spoke to him when he was here, and he hates it. He hates the rumors. He hates the talk. He goes, I've never once come out and said I hate it there. I don't know where it's come from. I absolutely love the club. I love the town. I love where I live. We've got a young dog and everything there, and I just absolutely love. He said Tom Glover lives next door to him. And he absolutely loves it, and he doesn't see himself going anywhere else. So this rumoring and this talk, and it's just this, it's what people talk about. It's just, he's heard it obviously, and it upset him. But look, he's not going anywhere. He told me verbatim that he loves it there. So look, that doesn't mean to say that he doesn't get a good offer. He's in his last season of contract. Maybe, this is a big contract for him as well. This next one, he's in the, obviously the later of his year. He's right on that cusp of, where, he could probably get a big deal somewhere as well if he wanted to. So, I don't know, but from what he's told me, he loves it and doesn't want to go anywhere. But that's not to say that if a big club comes in that he doesn't sit down and discuss it with them as well. I know he's in talks with the club right now doing about contract extension. And I hope and I pray that, that he can stick around. But yeah, it'll be, it'll just time will tell, won't it? And I just know that he needed to get his foot right. I saw a comment in there as well about do I think it was upsetting that he came and played for Australia? I mean, any kid growing up wants to play for their country. That's the be all bend all. I mean, club football. Yes, we love this club day in day out. But when you're a footballer, your dream is to play for England, play for Australia. And especially here, you guys have got to understand how big it is to play football for Australia, because Australia absolutely just is so bottom tier in sports here. We've got AFL, NRL, rugby league, cricket, everything. All these codes of other sports are so much well above football still. So for a footballer in Australia to make it to the Socceroos and then represent their country, it's just massive. And Riley would never shirk that. And it was just the inconsistently times. The timing of it was really poor. Of when he got fit, then Australia got Asian Cup. Then he got fit. He came down the friendly, and I was right there in front of him when he stepped on that turf, and you just saw his foot just go, and it just was that that same foot, and he needed to get the surgery on. He's done that now. He's still got a year on the contract. I know he's talking about it. I know he loves the club where he lives. Tom Glover next door to him. I know he wants to be here. And that's all I can say. That's all I can say. I'm obviously not in there, to discuss contracts. I don't know if there's club offers or anything else like that. We know how good he is on his day. We know he can absolutely turn a game on his head. But again, as much as I love him, no player is bigger than our club. Do you know what I mean? So there's no one player out there that's bigger than this club. Players come and go all the time. And as much as, I hope that he sticks around. All I can say is that exactly what I said is that he loves it here. He's in chats with them at the moment, and time will tell. See what happens.
What's interesting that you said about him being in talks with the club. I think that shows. It proves a lot of the rumour things wrong. People were saying, he must have had a falling out with Michael Carrick.
Nah,
blah, blah,
yeah.
blah. Normal stuff that you hear when players aren't playing.
Yeah.
He doesn't like your style of play, etc., etc. But I'll say, a fully fit Riley McGree next season is a massive boost to our promotion ops, because that lad can play football.
I've got to tell you how bad his foot has been this season has been a real driving force in a lot of it. Right from day dot, his foot, he hurt it pre-season, and he just tried to push through it all year, and it just got worse and worse. And then we saw that Watford game where it cracked. And then he decided he didn't want to have surgery because it would have just kept him out longer. There's stuff we just don't know. Do you know what I mean? And we're like, he doesn't want to play and all this sort of stuff. This foot was a really poor injury that just really hampered his whole season. And he said, that Birmingham goal that he scored, he said that was he said not only did he not celebrate because of it being Birmingham, his previous club, but he was just in that much agony because he scored on that foot as well. So take that what you will as well.
Be a massive boost if he signs a new contract in the next couple of weeks.
Be massive.
Massive.
Huge.
Yeah. Him in the gaffer. That'd be good,
Yeah.
wouldn't it?
Get Carrick over the line. Give him whatever he wants.
Really?
I'll give him my car.
Get a GoFundMe going. Do you mean? Just give him the money. Just give him anything.
Yeah.
Give him what he wants.
Doing what he wants. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Before, because obviously next week we're going to do our end of season review. We'll have a full show on it. We're going to talk every part of the season. I just want to go through you lads and say, what was your personal high from this season, your personal low, Borough-wise, and I'll just go through this. I'll start with you.
Personal life for me is easy. Stadium are like 4-0. Sunderland get battered everywhere they go. Absolutely fantastic.
It was magical.
And the low for me, Plymouth at home, which is a day that I probably thought to myself, the playoffs aren't going to happen for this football club this year. I think it was no shots on target against a team near the bottom. We've struggled against teams at the bottom. I don't think it could get much worse than that Saturday afternoon, to be fair.
Yeah, so they only had one away win in God knows how many. I think it was a year.
Yeah,
and that win was in Wales.
We've said how good we are on our day. How good are we? But when we're bad, we are stinking. By the way,
yeah.
Whoa.
If you want the Premier League equivalent of Borough, go watch Tottenham. When Tottenham are good, they're very good. When they're bad, they are rank bad.
Yeah.
It's just, that is our equivalent. So, I feel their pain. I always say that because my dad's a Spurs fan, but I feel his pain, I really do. But,
I'll say Sunderland and Plymouth.
Sunderland was a great day. Tico, come to you. Your personal highlight, your personal low.
I agree with John Cutler for the Plymouth one. I thought that was a real bad day at the office against Plymouth, against the poor side, to come to Riverside and beat with convincingly. We had a lot of players missing with injury there, and you just felt that was the end of our season, because you could never afford seeing the good run we had at the end of the season to make up for it and come close. But at that particular moment, it felt really I felt really low when we lost to Plymouth at home. My personal highlight was beating Chelsea in the cup at home 1-0. I just thought the amount of players we had missing that night, the atmosphere, the atmosphere the fans created before, during the game when we lost Bangura and Lati Alath through injury, and the crowd just rallied the team on to a. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that'll be talked about in years to come. When Middlesbrough beat Chelsea 1-0 in the League Cup semi-final at home with an injury-ravaged side, and the atmosphere on that night, it was a special game to be at. You go back through the annals of time at the Riverside, and you talk about different nights against your Liverpools and your Steaua Bucarests and your Brentfords and all the rest of the classics at Spurs and the FA Cup. But I think that was right up there when we beat Chelsea 1-0.
Spurs in the FA Cup. I hope my dad's listening. That was class. Ry, I'll come to you. Obviously, you've had a lot of very early morning wake ups.
Yes, sir.
You've had a lot of people watching along with you. This could be the best 2 minutes about to come up here. What's your personal highs and lows?
One of the lows was losing to QPR when Gareth Ainsworth was in charge and he was wearing half a shirt. You remember that? He's had the rock star. He had about 2 buttons done up. The bloke was absolutely horrid as a gaffer, and he somehow brought QPR to us at that start of the season with half a shirt on and absolutely pantsed us. And I couldn't believe it that we got done by the rock star in Gareth Ainsworth and QPR that day. That was shocking. One of the highlights was that Sam Greenwood free kick. My God. That's free kick. I tell you, I have dreams about that, and my wife kicks me out of bed. That free kick lives with me. Obviously, beaten Leicester twice this season. The lows again. Obviously, that Plymouth game was shocking as well. So that Watford, the first Watford game. Do you guys remember that when we won that? But that was when Riley did his foot and Lewis O'Brien fractured his tibia, and I was just like, this is just horrid because we just gotten good. We just gotten over that horrid start of the season, and then the Watford game come and everyone was just breaking stuff, and it was just shocking. And then Rotherham December, was it like Boxing Day? Rotherham. You know what I mean? I just thanks Santa. You know what I mean? I hated Santa. So, one of the highlights, honestly, that last game of the season. Honestly, packed Riverside, last game of the season, nothing on the line, retro shirt day, 3-1. You know what I mean? You got Hoyt running around as their captain, who's just a walking red card, absolute loser. And he gets absolutely spanked 3-1 by Latte and the boys. So, lots of highlights, couple of lows for sure, but that's the joy of being a Borough fan, isn't it?
It is. I mean, I'll disagree about the Watford bit because I was watching that in Magaluf and I very much enjoyed it. I was watching most of it through one eye because I wasn't exactly the most sober person in the world. But that was a great but
just Lewis O'Brien's injury.
It was bad. It wasn't great. But personal highlights. Chelsea at home was pretty special.
Yes,
having to pinch myself, and I looked at my partner, and she looked at me. And I just went, "This is not real. This is not real. We've got 18 players out injured. This is not real.
Yeah,
how have we done that?"
Thank you, Cole Palmer.
Oh yes, yeah. It is cold in Teesside. Cold. Don't worry about it. We all shiver. We all shiver just as much. But being stood alongside you stays my light. And I said to you, didn't begin the second half. I said, we get one against these, we'll get into these, and it could be bad.
It's unreal.
And we were 3-0 up in no time, and it was one of the best things I've ever seen. I ended up on some guy's lap on the third goal.
Yes.
There's just people all over the place, wasn't there? It was then the best part is there's a picture of the away end that my mate took, and we're all celebrating. There's just you, cuz look at them giving it hands to ears, and they're just all walking out. It was just like, it was poetic, it was beautiful. And for them to say they don't care, behave.
When we were walking out that stadium at the end, they were absolutely raging.
I showed them my flag, didn't
I? They don't care about us, though.
Yeah, they don't care. They don't care. Personal laws. No one's mentioned this one, so I'm going to mention it. Stoke away.
Brutal.
Stoke away. We were absolutely horrific. I mean, I'm not going to lie.
Thanks, Steve. I've been trying to forget about that one.
Yeah, I'm going to vomit at 5 a.m. in the morning here.
Honestly, that was absolutely... I left after the second goal went in. I went, I can't take that anymore. And it showed when people came out and said, and I said to them, did I miss out? No. My personal highlight that day was a dirty burger outside the ground. And that says absolutely everything you need to know about what happened that day. It was horrific. It was not good enough. that was the moment. You all said, Plymouth, we're not going to play. As soon as I walked out of Stoke, and that's our season done. Get me away from this year. I've had enough of it. I'm done. I'm finished. I can't do it anymore.
I'll stick one more highlight in for our boys just to finish on a positive. One more highlight.
Yeah.
Our guest last week, Johnny Howson's penalty against Southampton.
Oh, yes.
For the first win of the season.
Yes. Does the gritty. Yeah. Oh,
and the gritty. Yeah.
Does the dance. Yep. Yeah. I was there with him doing the dance. God,
Huddersfield away after his penalty miss. Yeah. He mentioned it last week when they were all raging and he went down the sideline. That's a highlight as well. Best celebration of the season, that right up there with Bangura on Saturday.
Yeah. Johnny Howson, the gangster.
Exactly. And if I want to finish on one really positive high, the guests we've had on this podcast this year has been brilliant. Yeah. Kieran Scott.
I thought you meant me there.
No, you're a guest anymore.
It's been good. It's been fantastic to listen to you boys.
We've had Kieran Scott. We've had Johnny Howson. We've had the local journalists. We've had the star in Australia that's on the screen.
Yeah,
Bandy's been unbelievable.
Oh, Bandy. He's going to draw me when we get promoted. By the way.
There you go. There you go. If you want to buy that, feel free because that could be a draw. Yeah. Are you going to be clothed?
I was going to say it's not a nude portrait, is it, right?
I said to Bandy yesterday, he was saying about all the drawings he's done. I said, mate, if we get promoted next season, you draw me like Kate from the Titanic. And he just said, yep, no, done.
So, draw me like one of your Borough girls. There you go. And on that lovely
be a bestseller, that would it? Man, you can't knock that back now.
Oh God, I'm going to go to sign up for that, right?
Hey, don't forget, guys, as well. Personal highlight as well for all the listeners and the viewers putting together and help we get 1,200 quid for the middle.
Oh, that was fantastic! Yeah, that was so good. I was giving that a shout on the breakfast radio as well. Just keeping it every morning. I had my news headlines ready to go, updating everybody about how much funds you'd raised and that, and it was just incredible effort. That so top notch. Not only you guys putting it out there and putting it together, but also everyone coming together and just for such a great cause. And all the food banks and everything that John Don does and all that sort of stuff. It's just been what an incredible season. Just bring it on. I can't wait for more. I need to get over there.
And although we're back next week, we've got a lot planned for the summer. Loads of special things lined up. So keep listening. Thanks to everyone who listens, puts in the views. Exactly. You make it all worthwhile for us. We love coming on and having a chat. It's like 5 lads being in a pub having a bit of crack. We all get on well. Exactly. We argue a lot, but we get on.
Exactly.
So thanks to each and every one of you.
Yeah, keep an eye out on your socials during the week. We're going to put out a little list that's supposed to be like our awards section of your player of the season, your young player of the season. I know. That all the awards got given out by Borough last week.
One to watch for next season. Realistic signing, you're like, well, we'll make a big list and
Aussie of the year.
We'll read out. That's you, Ry, obviously.
Yeah, let's get you a win.
We don't even need to we don't even need to put a poll out for that. That's fine. Don't worry about that. It's one. I'll send you a bag of Haribo. It's fine. And where's John Don? John Don's in Spain. He's having a bit of R&R.
Enjoy.
Not where Shaz thinks.
Sharon, I'd love to read that out, but we definitely can't.
He's not at the clinic. If you want to think about what clinics he's talking about, feel free. But I can't read that out. Yes, have a little look at the socials during the week. We'll put a little poll together to get all your votes because it's important to us that we get your player of the year as well as ours. And we'll get them all read out next season. Plus, we'll go through every high and low of the season. All the bits where we disagreed, where we agreed. But yeah, that'll be a good one for next week, don't we? So keep an eye out for that. But that's everything we can do. I can't really recover from what Sharon's just put there, so I can't really go.
I'm gone now.
Yeah,
Chris,
exactly.
That's
it. Job's done. So thank you very much for popping in as usual. Always good to have you in. Dicko, pleasure to have you on. Ry,
cheers, boys.
Absolute pleasure to have you on.
Thank you, mate. Thanks for having me, lads. Always a pleasure. Whatever time of morning, I'm here for you. And I absolutely love coming on and talking with you. So thank you for having me.
We'll catch you in the summer. And if we don't have you on before, you will definitely be on for the season preview. So there's something to
thank you, mate. Love to.
So, yeah, and everybody that's been listening all season and commenting and liking and subscribing and donating and been outstanding, and we're just going from strength to strength.
I'll tell you the perfect way to win this show would be a let's wake the neighbours from Ry.
Yeah.
Yeah, ready? Ready? What time?
We're
It's
ready.
5 a.m. Ready?
That'll be perfect.
Here we go.
Warm them
I
hands.
gotta hang on. I gotta get in the,
I know
I
it's
gotta
cold,
in
I
the
know it's
zone.
12 degrees and you're cold, so warm them.
Yeah, I know, right? I got Aileen coming down the wing. Oh, Sammy Silvera's joking. Riley McGree's on. He heads it across the latte. Latte goes in. What?
And on that note, I would say cheerio, cheers. Thank you so much. Love you all. See you next week.
Up the borough.
Up the borough.
Up the borough.
Borough.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to the 12th Man podcast. Hope to see you all again next week. Up the borough.